Welcome to the Jill on Money Show. It's Monday, August 15th, and we are here trying to solve some of your financial questions or answer them, solve the problems, maybe just help you make the next best decision in your financial life. And we do that by asking you to go to our website, jillonmoney.com, click the Contact Us button, and then when the form comes up, you tell us a little bit about yourselves and whether or not you'd like to come on the air. Mark does everything else. He's so good like that. So, by the way, while you're on that website and you're doing the Contact Us thing, subscribe to our weekly newsletter. It's fantastic. Mark puts it out every single Friday. It's great. Today, we are talking to Marie, who is on the line from Minnesota. Hello, Marie. How are you?
Doing well, thanks. How are you?
Great. How can we help you out today?
Well, I have some cash that I need your advice on what to do with.
Okay, I like cash. It's one of my favorite asset classes. How much is in there?
About $50,000.
How come you have this cash? Like, did you get a windfall on something? You sell a piece of property? What happened?
The long version is, a year and a half ago, I met this lovely man. At the end of last year, we decided to move in together. This year, each of us sold our respective homes. We bought a townhome. We're doing remodeling, and I anticipate having about $50,000 left from the sale of my house.
Great.
That I need to find out what to do.
How'd you meet this guy?
Internet dating site.
Really? It worked.
Yeah, I'm 70. He's 72.
You're brave. Now, I said after my father died, I said to my mother, get ready to swipe. She goes, I'm too old for that. And then I learn all the time that does not matter what your age is. Your willingness is good, right? Your willingness to do it is good. Did you have to go on a bunch of dates with losers before you found Mr. Wonderful 72-year-old?
No, actually, no, because I was pretty clear who I was looking for.
All right. Well, that's good. So you went on. Yeah. So, I have a friend of mine. She's so funny. She used to say, there are a lot of really interesting people. It's not someone you want to spend the rest of your life with, but like if you go into it just saying like, it may be something great. It could be a friend. It could be this. It could be that. And you're right. You have to make that filter very narrow. So that's a good way to do it also. So Marie, are you and your beau working or retired?
Both retired.
Okay. And what is the source of your income, Marie?
I have Social Security and then 2 pensions.
2 pensions, not one, but 2. How much is the Social Security?
I gross annually about $37,600.
Great. And what about the 2 pensions?
One of them is $26,500 and the other is $3,300.
26,500, like 26,500 for the year, and the other one you said 3,300 a month?
No, a year. It's tiny.
Oh, okay. So now 37,000 from your Social Security. You got the bigger pension and the smaller pension. That's about 67 grand, 67.4. How are you living on that money? Is that comfortable for you? Do you need to dip into other sources? What's going on?
No, that's really comfortable. I live within that very well. I think in the last couple years, I've only taken out about 5,000 or maybe a little bit more from my investments.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about those investments.
It's at Vanguard. So I have a traditional IRA that's $113,000, Roth IRA that's $156,000, and then a money market traditional IRA that's $30,000. And then I've got a couple of savings bonds too.
How much in savings bonds?
I have one that's $34,000 at 7% interest.
Ooh.
I inherited that from my parents, and then and that's comes due, or the term ends in 8 years. And then I bought 10,000 in I bonds last December, and then when the rate went up again this month, I bought another 10,000.
All right, so you got plenty of money in safe money, right? So you got the 54,000, and when you said your money market is 30,000, was that in addition to the 113 or part of the 113?
It's in addition to the 113.
Okay, I gotcha. And the house that you bought together is worth how much about?
I think we paid about $420,000 for it, but we're keeping our finances totally separate, but we're into the house 50-50.
Okay, that seems good. And do you have kids?
Yes, two adult sons.
And they're fine?
They're wonderful and they're both financially independent.
And those are my favorite kinds of children. And there's no mortgage on that place. You bought it for cash, right?
Yep.
Okay. So we do have a little bit of room to pull money out of the traditional IRA right now. So for, say, this year and next year, because your required minimum distributions, we've got 2 years to go, right?
Correct.
So what if we took, first things first, what if you pulled out this year $20,000 from your traditional IRA and use some of the 50 to pay the tax on it, and then do the same thing next year? So, it's like kind of good timing wise because you don't have to leave that much in cash. And then what's kind of nice, over the next 6-8 months, you're going to remove the amount of money from that traditional. You're going to pop it into you're simply going to convert that into a Roth.
Okay, great.
And I think that makes sense. And you'll have the money to then pay the tax that's due. You just use some of the cash. It's not that, you're not in a huge tax bracket, but it's going to cost you some amount of money, thousands of dollars, probably less than 10. Then the question is, what do you do with the rest of it? Yes, you're right. The money market account is cash. I'm not in such a huge rush to roll the dice. How do you feel about investing right now?
I'm okay with assuming risk because I'm so confident that I can live on my income.
Right. Okay. So do your two adult sons have children? Is there anything you want to do in terms of helping out, 529 plans or anything like that?
I haven't yet. I just keep thinking I might be best giving them money when they need it if I have it. But I raised my kids as a single parent and I supported them myself. And I'm also looking at my money now as for me to have fun.
Yeah.
So and they're fine with that too. So, but I have thought I could start 529 for them and just kind of click that off my aren't I nice list.
Okay, you are nice. You don't have to do that right now. I guess the question is, if I've got 50 and I'm going to essentially pull 40 grand over the course of 2 calendar years and convert that 40 into a Roth, you're going to have to pay tax on it. So of the 50, let's say that I'm going to make it a higher number, but let's say we're going to use 15 grand to pay taxes that are due. Here's the thing. I can make a case for 2 different ways to approach this. One is leave it alone. Keep your cash. Don't worry about it and don't think twice. The other is to say, hey, you know what? I'm going to have 35 grand. Why don't I put right now, I can open up another Vanguard account. I'll make it a brokerage account and I'll make it pretty easy. I'll buy, I'll put half of the money. I can put, say, 15 grand in a stock market index and 15 grand in a bond market index. And maybe that'll just be fine and dandy, a non-retirement investment account. But I want to tell you clearly, it's not actually that important that you do that. So if you feel like you want to and you want to have some upside, you'll have upside there. If you feel like, you know what, I just rather leave the cash on hand, that's fine with me too. If you feel like, oh, I got to be nice to my stupid grandkids, my lovely, wonderful grandkids, then if you think you'd like to do that, how many grandkids are there?
4.
It depends. Sometimes the numbers do work out. So if you say, I got 4 grandkids right now, why don't I put 5 grand each into 529 accounts for each of those kids? And then you don't invest the money at all. You invest the money, but it's for them. And you say, I'm going to just put 5 grand into each of these accounts. And you make sure that the parents know, hey, this account, this is it. This is all they get. I'm not doing this again, because you're not. It's like a one-time thing. How old are these grandkids? What's the age ranges?
8 to 14.
It's a good time to do it. I would say that I almost would rather do that if you're at all inclined. If you don't want to, I don't want to guilt you into doing it, honestly. Yeah, but no. If you are inclined to do it, I think it's a good time to do it because age-wise, it's a good time. And also it's a more efficient way to invest. So that way, all you need to do is with the cash that's left, you say 5 grand each for the grandkids, you open up these accounts, and the rest of the money stays in cash. You pay the tax that's due for converting 20 grand this year, 20 grand next year. The following year, you have to start taking your required minimum distribution, so you can do that. And if you want, you can just sort of keep converting a little bit at a time. You can take the money out, or you can just take the money out and add it to your cash position, but you're in good shape. Those pensions save you.
Why are you saying 20,000 this year, 20,000 next year? Does that just keep me in a lower tax bracket?
Yeah, exactly. Keeps you in your 22%. If you wanted to, you really could go all the way up. I mean, I kept you in 22, but the 24% tax bracket, you would actually be able to convert half of the money this year and half of the money next year. And you would then pay a higher tax and then you'd soak up all the cash. I think slowly is probably better in this case. Let's see how your expenses are. I want you to have some cash. And the same thing, by the way, if you don't feel like you want to do $5,000 all at once for the kids, you can do three. You could say, I'm going to put 3,000 away for each of them. It's fine. I wouldn't be in such a hurry. I personally, if you have an itch to invest, fine. I would keep the money in cash and be boring.
What does it make sense, just because the market is so volatile now, to do just a little bit each month of that 20,000? Just do a little bit each month until I do the 20,000.
Sure, you could do that. I mean, it's totally up to you. Listen, the reality is you're better off doing it all at once right now because you're buying things on discount. And even if it goes down even further, you're kind of like, you're at least halfway to getting a pretty damn good bargain, and maybe it's better than that. And if you feel like you want to, and I think 20 and 20, and then the following year, let's see how things move. Let's see where you are. Let's see how things feel. You may say, I don't want, that's great. By the way, you'll have 200 grand in your Roth. Your traditional will be less than 100. Your required minimum distributions will be lower, so you won't really have to do that much.
Right. Good.
And you'll just be able to take some money and do it like that. I think you're in great shape.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
All right, Marie, I presume you got all of your estate documents done because you're shacking up with this dude and you're not married, right?
That's correct. We're working with an estate attorney now.
Very good. Marie from Minnesota, we so appreciate you joining us. We really do. Thanks for coming on. And if you are wondering how to find love when you are 70 or in your late 60s, Marie is available to do all of the counseling that you need. Be willing. Be willing, gang. Be willing to come on the air with us first. Maybe we'll encourage you to go find love in another chapter of your life. Go to JillOnMoney.com, click the Contact Us button. Mark, when are you getting that button ready to swipe left or right for the dating service? Get that going. You and Karen should stop eating your bonbons and goofing off and do something fun for me. Create the dating site for Jill on Money, okay? All right. If you want to join us, again, Jill on Money, click Contact Us. Sign up for the free weekly newsletter, subscribe to our other stuff, check out all the great content we have on the website, okay? And please leave us a rating review on Apple. All right, do something nice for someone else today. Grit, growth, grace. Thank you for listening. We'll talk to you tomorrow.